Ever get the feeling you're being watched online? It's data brokers. They collect your personal info, your browsing habits, where you live, and who you're related to, and then sell it to the highest bidder. Aura helps stop that. Aura automatically removes your personal info from data broker sites and keeps it off. It also monitors the dark web, protects your devices, alerts you to real-time threats, and more. Start your free trial at aura.com/listen. That's AURA.com/listen for your free trial.
If you love entertainment, current events, and Hollywood, don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha Bean, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Everything I do is for the betterment of my girls. Don't you know that? Don't you trust me?
Con, is Dad an honest man?
An honest man? Where'd you get that from, Rose? A man that gives you everything.
Some questions are just better left unanswered. He doesn't do things right all the time, but he does them for the right reasons. Our families came in with nothing. You're led to believe that things are fair here. They're not. Certain point in your life, and you gotta accept that things aren't gonna work out the way you dreamt they were.
What's wrong with you? I'm trying to protect you!
What do you want to do, Rose?
We're gonna be husband and wife. We're gonna have kids. Your father's getting us the house.
Well, maybe I don't want a house for my father. You wanna know who your people are? Your family is your people. Step up and realize that or you won't have one.
Go to bed. Everything's okay.
No, it's not okay, girls. It's not okay. Look what he's done to his family. I know exactly who Dad is. I always have. He's my father. I know I'm supposed to be the good little girl, have respect, live by the rules in this world that I did not choose.
I'm your father.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a very lovely guest.
Hi, Jennifer Esposito.
Welcome. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited to talk to you about film and your new amazing film, Fresh Kills. Wow. I honestly don't know where to start. Like I'm still thinking about it, the film, and I watched it 2 days ago and I was like, it's still going through my mind. But tell me a little bit, I'm really curious where the inspiration came from to make this film. And like, did you actually grow up in that kind of environment? Or
I did grow up in that environment. Yeah. For those who don't know, it does take place in a mafia world. It wasn't my family, but it was around me everywhere. I grew up, I was born in Brooklyn and then moved to Staten Island when I was like 8 or 9. And the girls my age, that's what their dads were involved in. And so, I didn't know anything else, but seeing these young women extremely violent and it really stayed with me, especially, being the one that they wanted to kill all the time. That was hard. But also being friends with some and just not understanding where such rage came from. And like I said, this wasn't until I stepped away from it, because this is what you're surrounded by. You think this is all normal until I stepped away from it a little bit and was like, wow, like what is that about?
Yeah.
And I chalked it up to, as a kid, like, oh, how would I feel if my father was that way, And And I realized as I got older, when I left Staten Island at like 18, and I realized as I went through my life why I kept like there was something there. And I remember thinking when I was like 16, 17, watching this, going, this would be a great movie. Like
Yeah.
what we never saw this like from the young girl's point of view, and it just stayed with me. But then when I got out into my career and when I got out into the world, and the story really like wouldn't budge out of my
Mm.
mind, out of my heart. And I realized that their rage that I saw was very much something I felt. And I thought, well, why?
Mm.
My father isn't in this world. But it
Yeah.
wasn't about that, and it wasn't about the world. It was about being stuck in a spot and born into a space that they could not escape. And I thought, for me as a woman, period, end of
Yeah.
sentence. There was a ceiling, there was a pushback, and then being a certain type of woman, being uh going after what I wanted or whatever. And you know totally always being told who and what I was as a female,
Yeah.
and then who and what I was in an industry, and then being placed in a box. I understood the rage in a different way, and that's why this story kept resonating with me. And I always say the movie really has nothing to do with mafia. It has to do with finding a voice in a world that tells you not to have one. And that's how I felt. That's how I feel. I know so many people can relate, men and women. And so yeah, that it was something that I really needed to talk about, but I placed it in this world because in that world, from what I saw, the roles were clearly defined.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this is your
Oh my
spot, this is
gosh.
your spot, this is where you stay. And there was no, getting out for them, you know.
Mm.
And yeah, it was
Like, that's it, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And it's the
That's
same with
sad.
like poverty and alcoholism, and it's the circle of trauma, and it's like, trying to break that generational trauma. And how do you do it? And like I said, it doesn't have to relate to mafia, it can relate to anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
it
yeah.
hits so many points though. It hits like just everything you said. It's like a social experiment of like how this is how the world works.
That's right.
Down to Hollywood, to all the, corporate world, everything. And how do we change it is my question. Or is it possible to change? But
If I don't have hope, it's like, then what? But I
yeah.
do think, especially now, it's
Mm,
we really have to, I also I teach. I've taught throughout my whole career, and I teach acting, but I also teach writing, and we're doing this first book. It's a book club meets writing club, and the first book I chose was Seed of the Soul.
mm,
Not Seed of the Soul. I'm sorry. It's Power of Now,
mm.
um, by Eckhart Tolle, and I chose it particularly for this moment because he says something in the book that is extremely difficult to digest.
Mm.
And this book has helped me many points in my life, and it helped me with one aspect with this movie because a lot of things went on with this movie. It should have been dead 20 times. And
Wow.
the trauma from
Mm,
this experience has been extreme. And there was a point where it was dead.
mm.
And I had put all of my money into it, and it was criminally pulled.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
it was a lot. Had a shitty producer at one point. So I had to get a grip on myself,
Mm,
which was extremely hard to do. There's a lot of rage. Like, again, I was being a movie about finding a voice, and then I was being tortured again to be shut
wow.
up. And it was just a lot. So I got that book again, and I was devouring it. And it says a line that we have to not be in pain. We have to accept the present as though we chose it.
I see.
And that is extremely, extremely difficult to
Yeah.
do. So I look at what you said just now and like, is there hope? The only way we can have hope is accepting the present time.
Ever get the feeling you're being watched online? It's data brokers. They collect your personal info, your browsing habits, where you live, and who you're related to, and then sell it to the highest bidder. Aura helps stop that. Aura automatically removes your personal info from data broker sites and keeps it off. It also monitors the dark web, protects your devices, alerts you to real-time threats, and more. Start your free trial at aura.com/listen. That's AURA.com/listen for your free trial.
As if we chose it. And that's very, very hard to digest right now with everything going on.
Yeah.
Only reason I say that is because you cannot move on from something that you are not willing to see. It is
Yeah.
extremely, extremely clear now where we stand as women. There is no more gaslighting. There is no more like, no, but it's getting better. Look at the stats, and the stats don't match up, and like women helping women and all of this bullshit. It is extremely clear now. Our growth is nobody's concern, even other women.
Yeah, you're right.
And that is really, really frightening. So we have to digest that. And where do we go from there? You know, but to say like, oh, we were doing so well. No, we weren't. We really weren't. We were told that we were. And then when you look at the statistics of female directors and all, it was going down. So then you have to look at the material, the big things that are being pushed right now. I'm sorry, is barking. You have to look at the big things that are being pushed right now. But you have to look at the big things that are being pushed right now for women, and they're all so you know, they're all so similar of the savior, and she gets saved, or we're mutilating her, and it's like, wow, you really hate us, don't you? You really hate us.
And it's crazy because like that's so true, because the beginning of time, even like our heroes like Marilyn Monroe, who was overly sexualized and is the hero, and who's looked up after like as like a to look like this is what you should aim for. And it's like, really, is that all we're we're really worth?
That's it. Like we're still doing this. Like every single movie that is pushed out there right now that is going to be, you know, was nominated, it's either it's her sexuality or her beauty. That's it. That's all we got. That's all we got to say. And it's not all we have to say. And Fresh Kills was one of those examples. And, you know, it couldn't have been more pushed aside.
And that's you know, it's crazy because like I did read like a little bit of like just the pushback that you had got putting this out, which is beyond me, because it's like you would think as a creator, that's what we're here to do, is to offer different perspectives from our, like, you know, so people can, you know, relate, and people, you know, but it's that thing is like, that's the machine, that's what makes money. But is it? Is that what we're told?
But that's what I mean. That's the agenda.
That's
I mean, right now it's very clear it's an agenda.
Exactly.
Why would my movie, you know, why would it go out there when you can say, you know, when you left me a message, like how important the film is. The amount of people that say the same thing, men and women, like this is an important film, like to give, you know, you a insight to like breaking free of generational trauma and cultural trauma, and like, why would we want to empower anyone?
That part.
Keep them numb and dumb, as I say.
It's literally like the Matrix. It's like that concept of the red pill or blue pill. You want to stay sleeping in this, what we've shown you, this reality, or wake up and create your own. And I feel like a lot of people, and it takes guts. So I mean, I commend you, because people don't do it because like we see people get reprimanded all the time, whether they get like, the whole Jonathan Majors aspect, without getting too far into the detail, like, from Marvel to getting bumped down because of the situation. It's like, you have to stay in line, you have to be perfect. But it's like, can we not? Like, what
Yes.
is this?
And
It's just not
I mean,
healthy.
and for women,
Yes.
it's
Sad.
90,000 times worse. I mean, look at the president. You could be
Yeah.
a rapist and then be president. A woman, forget it.
Forget it.
Forget it. You say your sentence too aggressively, and it's like she's difficult. Out.
Yeah.
Like it's just someone said to me, it's like for women, you gotta work 10 times as harder. I was like, 10 times. You gotta
Way
work
harder.
lifetimes as harder. 6 lifetimes is harder. It was really very sad because you grow up hearing your work has to be undeniable, and then you get there and it is undeniable and it's denied, and you think, whoa, that's a
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
It
No,
has to be undeniable but in the box
yes.
they prove.
And that's something that you touched on a lot in this film with the women characters. And I mean, by the way, the performances were just
I agree, they were
stellar.
so
Like,
beautiful. Odessa
holy
Azai and
moly.
Emily Bader, honestly, that's what kills me more than anything. Those two girls should have been recognized.
And it wasn't.
Nope.
Wow. 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 That's crazy. But I must say that, I think the people that get it will get it. And that's the thing, is like, that's your audience, and you have it. And it's like that I went to the film with, like, I don't know, expecting just like the stereotype, but it
Mhm.
wasn't at all what I thought. And I was
Mhm.
just pleasantly surprised. And I mean, just your performance as a mom, and that, that just being in that world and choosing that lifestyle, and not you love your kids, but also it's like, this is the only thing I know. And
Yeah.
that last scene was just, I literally was done. I was like, I'm done. I can't. Like, that, and no speaking, no talking. It was just, and I think you knew as a mom in that like, you knew she was gonna leave at some point, like deep down. She took and she just waved, and and it just ends. That was I literally, that was like literally like a knife in the heart, but it was like, wow, okay, you have to choose you at the end of
You
the day.
have to choose. You have to choose. And it's like you said, um, you just Francine, my character, just didn't have the tools. And I
Yeah.
think it reminds me of a lot of this women on women hate. I think it comes from such deep pain of like, well, I didn't get to do that. Why should you
Mm,
do that? I
I
didn't
see.
get to be free or have that opportunity. Why should you get to? And it's this ingrained misogyny, but mixed with such jealousy and such pain. And
Wow.
I don't know how we go forward as women until that's healed. I really don't.
Exactly. Exactly. Gosh, what was, like, my question I had for you about this particular film was, like, the movie Fresh Kill, hits at themes of violence, obviously both literally and and metaphorically. How does the violence affect societal pressures that women face? And what commentary do you think this film makes about women reclaiming their power in the world?
Well, the amount of times we've seen uh females experiencing their rage, not like I'm
Mm,
mad or, dressed as superheroes, or like girl fights in like bathing suits, but to
yeah,
really experience their rage, and young women. And it's funny because the film was in Tribeca Film Festival,
nice.
um, a wonderful female filmmaker came over to me and she was like, I watched your movie. Oh my God, it was amazing. But I was really uncomfortable when, you know, when the girls were fighting. And I thought, isn't that
Hmm.
interesting? And I thought, why? And she was like, I don't know. I said, because you never see it. Because
Mm.
we're not supposed to be angry. We're not supposed to feel rage. We're supposed to be sugar and spice and everything nice. And that's part of the problem. That's also part of the agenda to
Right.
it keeps you in your box, keeps you in your place. Don't speak up. Don't feel real feelings. Don't feel angry.
Yeah.
God forbid, don't feel angry. And it's just not true. It's not
Mm.
human. It's not real. Express that was important to me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you did it in spades. Like the way I mean, it was just, I think every woman should watch this film. Like from whatever background, I think it's
Agree.
very important for them to watch this. And hopefully it ignites something in them to step out into their own power and get out of their own boxes.
Exactly. And that, like, why would we want society or movie to do that? Why would we want that? Because then they all think that they can step into their power and they all think they can go and make a movie on their own. So
Yeah.
it actually makes sense to me why it was pushed aside.
Mm.
Doesn't mean it hurts any less.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think about the Me Too movement, and that phenomenon and how like it seemed like there was we were like all the women, had Oprah walk up there and like we stand and all the women were clapping, everyone's like emotional. We're like, yeah, okay. And then it just like the next day was like back to regular scheduling programming. It's like
Yeah.
nothing happened. And it
Yeah.
just blew my mind. And that's when I actually knew, okay, yeah, there's something going on that's a
Yep.
little deeper than just the surface of what they're telling us,
100%. And this, the experiencing we're in now, is the backlash from that, from us making some
Wow.
headway. 100,
Wow. Wow.
100%. It's like you got
Oof.
way too far. Yeah, it's deep. It goes really, really deep. And like I said, I don't even know if you can say comfort, but the only thing that I uh feel somewhat, I don't want to say happy, I don't know the word, but can digest
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that it's clear now. There's no
Mm.
gaslighting, there's no veil. It's clear. It's clear. You don't want us to have a place in the world. You want us to be home procreating. That's
Mm. Yeah. Wow.
it.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of noticed with the characters, the daughters, Rose and Connie, like that how they that they're I mean, one was Rose was this, I don't know, she's in this family, but she just had different type of, she didn't really accept it all, like I think, but she loves her family. And then the other the sister completely accepts it, and it's like this is what it is, and she's okay. She's like she seems like she enjoys it almost.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that they're complete opposites, and then there's that like combat they're having, and then there's mom, and then the sister. It's like it's very interesting. Did you go into it like, when you were writing this story? Did you want, was it important to have those differences in the sisters?
Yeah, absolutely. People always ask me about, where it came from and who am I? And I always say, Rose is who I actually am, but Connie's who
Mm,
I had to become to exist in this world. I think a lot of women could relate to that as well. So they're a split of like me. Um, but it's funny because I don't think of them so differently. In fact, Connie, Rose, my character Francine and Shore's character Christine, um, they're all split from one, meaning
mm,
they all handled this differently.
right,
Underneath, it's all pain of being trapped in a life they did not choose.
right.
One goes inward, Rose. Connie goes outward. Mom tries to pretend, and Francine has just given up.
Yeah.
Um, has given in and given up. And you see different approaches to this life, which was really fun to explore. Because like I said, we all go through all of this dealing with what we're dealing with. I
Yeah.
know for me, I've tried to fight the system, and then you realize, oh, I'm not getting anywhere. Let me try and, oh, okay, do the right thing, be the way they want, or let me just to get away from it. But there's all you try and approach an issue when the
Hmm.
issue is really just to get out to.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you don't have any tools, and it is
That's
your
so
family.
true. When you don't have the tools, that is real. I think that's, um, I think that was in a line of who said that? It was like a rapper or someone. And first of all, I love the soundtrack in this
Yes,
movie as well. I was
so
like,
fun,
whoa,
right?
like
So
every
much
like
fun.
so like was that like, and I love how you like from the car, the music in the car, and just the times that we were that time. It was like,
Mhm.
oh, it brought me back to that those times. And
Yeah.
like was that something that you were very like particular about when you were making this film?
Oh my God, music was everything. I put every one of those songs in there and like was picked everything. And I grew up with those songs. And so it was like,
Love
yeah,
it.
that the music was very important to me because it dictated my childhood. I remember being in the house and hearing bass coming from miles away and hearing certain bass and knowing how strong the bass was, I knew who it was. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's so and so come like that. Boom, boom. Things like that. It really, there's sound is such an important piece of telling a story. And yeah, no, the music was really important to me.
Yeah, no, it was great. I love how you utilized it as well. And like those moments where it's quiet and there's nothing and that it's just emotion and just silence. I feel like I love that space too that you use. Like
Me too.
this is your debut. I mean, like
Yes. Thank
I was
you.
like, wow.
Thank
That's
you. Thank
incredible.
you. Thank you. I
Blown away.
appreciate it. It's been years of I wanted to go to NYU, but I didn't have the money to go. And back then
Yeah.
when I was ready to go to college, there was no real examples of female filmmakers. So it's just a dream. I kind of was like, I guess that's not for me. And I didn't think
Mm.
about it. I even when I wrote the piece, I was ready to give it to a male director.
Oh,
And I had a very big executive at one of these streamers say to me, don't you dare. This is yours. Do not,
yeah.
do not, do not do it. And I was like, I don't know. Can I do this? And then it was like, how can I not, and now that's all I want to do is make my own work.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's important? Like, do you feel like as creatives, we have a responsibility?
100%. 100%, especially now. Especially now, without art, we are done. We are done
Mm.
as a society. It is the only thing that can bridge a gap between me and you and you and you. It is the only thing because people that hate each other can watch this film and understand something that they're seeing, and that right there can lead to conversation, to lead to understanding someone else's world. That's why
Mm.
it is so vital, and that's why I push so hard for this film. But standing up for all independent films, because if we keep seeing a limited perception of what the 10 people are saying yes to, we're seeing their world the way they want it to be reflected. We're not
Yeah.
seeing worlds that we don't know
Yeah.
because it scares them. But if we broaden this out and we're able to see people
Yeah.
and their struggles, and we may not all, especially now, be in this space where it's almost it's dangerous at this point to have an opposing opinion. It doesn't have to be this way,
It
but
doesn't.
everybody's responsible. Everybody is responsible. That what you see on your screen is directly related to the culture it's making. And they can make you a
Mm.
villain, they can make you a slave, they can make you a whore. It's right there. It's right
So
there. And
true.
it doesn't have to be that way, but that's what happens when you have one group making the decisions for the whole.
the whole, and that's the thing. It's like it seems like we're so far society wise when I think about it. Like feels like we're so far gone. It's so like we some people wake up and then some like and somehow we forget. Just like whether it's a movement, it's like completely gone. It's like, how is that even possible? But then I look around, I'm thinking we're constantly bombarded with information, social
Constantly.
media, billboards, what you're not enough of, like what you're not, what you need to be like, celebrity. It's just this constant, and I think it's really important to step away from it, like,
Oh yes. Oh,
at
especially
times.
now. Especially now. You really have to step back and just be like, okay, I need a minute. But again, it's all by design. It's
Yeah,
all by design to make
it's
you
all by
forget who you
design.
are, forget your power, forget you're just part of a big, a big scheme of like energy. Like it's they want you to forget.
It's like we're on the Truman Show. you know?
100%. I would like out personally. I would like off this ride. Like, where is the executive producer? I quit. I quit. Seriously. I quit.
Oh man.
Too much, man.
It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. I have this question I love to ask every guest on the show, and there's no wrong answer, but the three levels of influence: money, power, and respect. And if you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
I love that question.
Thank you.
Um, I my heart would be respect. But these days I would say money because what I would do with that money would be very different than what I think many try and do with the money. I
Yeah.
mean, I look at some of these people who have tons of money, and it's frightening to me that they could do so much good, but yet all they do is hunger for more. It's like,
Mm,
when is it enough? Like, it's so dark.
yeah.
It's so dark. So wouldn't it be nice to put money in the hands of someone who wants to bring light? Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be nice? Wouldn't
That would
that
be
be
nice.
nice? And respect, I just respect is something that I think is just something has to start personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really has to start personally, but when you really respect who you are, there's such a peace in that. That's what this movie did for me. It's something I
Mm,
always wanted to do, and being told who and what I was and what I was capable of in this industry for so long, and no one wanted to read my script. No one cared to look at it. No one gave me the time of day. Even in reviews that
mm,
were good, they were like, I never expected this from this actress. Like it was just so disrespectful.
yeah.
But me being able to do this, even with all of the trials and the downright like stay down
Yeah.
messages I was getting,
Wow.
the deep respect for the work and the deep respect that I have for myself that I never knew
Hmm.
is something I would never change. As hard
Yeah.
as this whole experience was, I gained a deep respect for myself that money cannot purchase and no one can take. So
Mm,
they could push me aside, they can push away the movie, but I've gained something that no one will ever take from me. It's the
absolutely.
knowing that I not only did this, but I believed in myself enough to do it. And that is huge. Even if it turned out like shit,
Hmm.
it's like you did it. You
Yeah.
did it. The amount of people, especially women, that leave their dreams behind for their kids or their husband, or because they're told to, or because they were told they'll never do it, is like 99%. I see them all the time in my classes, all the time.
Mm,
And it's heartbreaking. And I
yeah.
I was there. I was
Yeah.
there. I didn't start this until, a couple years ago. I was there and I really had to look at myself and say, I was miserable. And I was like, you're going to get to the end of your life. Are you going to be okay dying knowing you didn't do this? And the answer was no.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you're thinking about doing something and going back and forth, ask yourself that question honestly. And if the answer is no, then I don't care how old you are, do it. You have to at
Yeah.
least try. You have to at least try. So respect is very important, I think, as well.
Absolutely. No, that's a beautiful answer. I love how you said that. I would definitely choose money too in this time. Absolutely. I could make my films and not be waiting for someone to tell me,
Exactly. And that's why I did what I did, because
Yeah.
again, I think it's on purpose to keep your hopes squashed.
Yeah.
That we're waiting on green lights into a system that doesn't even work for us to begin with. Like we're waiting
Exactly.
on green lights from people that don't care if we're in it or not.
Right.
That's the wrong line to be waiting in.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do to make your thing on your own, you have to do it. Not only for
Absolutely.
you, but for the world and for the people looking to you to change things up. That's something that I've gotten a lot from people. The fact that I was able to do this on my own.
Mhm.
It definitely did give a lot of people an inspiration, like, oh, it can be done. I'm here to say it can be done. It is not easy at all,
Absolutely.
but it can be done. It can be done.
And thank you. No, thank you for your gift to the world, and that it's actually will go down in history. It's out there. And that's important. That's important.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate everyone who reaches out to me, everyone who posts about it, everyone who wants me on their podcast, because then it means that it did break through. And
Yeah.
that is huge. As an artist, that's all we want. That's all we want. So it means the world to me. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for your time.
Of course.
Um, this was such a great conversation because I've being a cinema, I went cinematography route into the industry. So, and that was a hard, there's not many us, but we're out here. We're out here. So
Good,
it's good
good.
to
I
see
love
it.
that. I love that. I've always, I thought about recently actually, it's like, all I need to know now is how to work that camera, because I want to be able to do it all. Like I don't have to
Yeah.
ask anybody anything, but that's something it's like all those numbers and it's like, oh my God, it's just my brain goes, but look at you. That's amazing. That's
Thank you.
amazing. Very
Thank you.
cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for your time. And also, where can people find you on social media? I mean, they can just Google you at
Yeah.
this point. I don't
Well, J Esposito on
know.
Instagram, but I'm gonna have a Substack coming soon called Rebellious Life with Jennifer Esposito, which will be talking like this and anybody who's gone outside of what they're told in any way. So that's what going to be. A Rebellious Life, also Rebellious Life with Jen Esposito, my website, which my classes are all there, but Fresh Kills can be seen on Hulu starting
All
February
right.
7th. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank
Go
you.
see it, everybody. Go see it.
Yes.
You won't regret it. Go, go, go. Thank you
Yes.
again.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.